Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to an island motocross paradise. This is Madagascar by JV in MX Bikes, and boy oh boy, this is one of the coolest and maybe best tracks we have ever seen in a motocross video game. I feel like I say that a lot, but man, JV makes some incredible tracks, and this one is no different. Before we get too deep into this video, I want to let everyone know that this is actually a paid track, so if you guys want to download this track, it is actually $3 on the MX Bikes shop page. But boy oh boy, I personally think it is worth it. It is incredibly detailed, really well thought out, and as we're going to see by the many different tracks that are on it, pretty much like a crazy big motocross compound packed into this tiny little island. It's weird because like it almost looks like it's pretty big from afar, but then when you actually ride the track, it feels really tight and compact. It's such a unique feeling to it for sure. But this is incredible work by JV, who says this is the first of many projects that he has in store for us that are based on these kind of fantasy tracks that he wants to build. So without further ado, we're going to jump in. We're going to show you guys a hot lap around the national track, and then I'll jump back in and talk to you guys a little bit about it and what I like and what I don't like. So as you guys can see by one lap of this track, it is incredibly detailed. And honestly, it like what I love about it really is that it doesn't feel like he, carved out a track and left everything that's like actually on the track like smooth and like, I don't know, clean and pristine or whatever. Like it definitely feels like almost like a partially abandoned motocross track to a degree, because there's bushes and stuff across the track. There's a lot of sections that have like big bumps just kind of like right through the middle of the track and stuff like that. It's like I don't know how to describe it better than just like it's incredibly well detailed and put together, where that like when you're riding it, you just feel like you're kind of in this little like nest almost of trees surrounding you. You got like almost like a tropical rainforest, but obviously it's Madagascar themed. And yeah, I mean, the track itself obviously flows together really, really well. It took me maybe a little bit of time to kind of get used to like where everything goes, I guess, because you can pretty easily figure it out once you do it a couple times. But like at first, it almost looks like maybe the track should go in different, I don't know, directions a little bit. And then some sections, it feels like this one, you could get like a super long run up to this step up. But if you jump any further than where I did, like you're going to jump basically into the corner. And then so obviously there's some tighter sections that you have to like kind of finesse your way through. But it's a good mixture of high speed, big jumps in some areas, but also like low speed, tight technical sections. So like as a standalone track, even if you remove the environment and how crazy good everything looks, it's a really fun track. Like it like I said, it has good flow. It has a mixture of sections, and it's pretty easy to like, I don't know, like connect everything together to a degree. Like I said, it maybe took me a couple laps to like really figure it out. But once I really understood like the direction of the track and where everything went, there's obviously like option lines, like you go inside or outside in the section I just went through. And then it crosses over each other a little bit here and there. It's really, really well thought out, really well put together. And I just don't know like how you have this high level of detail and still put together just such a tremendous track. Like I feel like in the past when you'd see track creators really go over the top with detail, they'd kind of miss the mark on the track a little bit because they spend so much time on the environment and forget to make like a really well thought out racetrack. But this, like I said, this racetrack as a standalone, like it could have no decals or anything on it and still be really fun to hit and have some good flow to it. So I mean, JV, he does a tremendous job putting stuff together regardless. But I feel like in terms of a track, like this is maybe one of his better tracks that he's ever made, with how well it flows and how nice the lines and everything come together. So this is the MX track. We're going to move on next to I think what's called the Madagascar Beach Tour. So we're going to jump around, do some laps in the sand here as we go around the beach a little bit here at Madagascar. So I will just apologize in advance, as you can see, or maybe this is not in advance because it's after the fact, but I'm not very good sand rider in this game. Sometimes I feel like I can flow stuff pretty well together, but I felt like on these couple laps I put together, I was making a lot of little mistakes, and I'm trying to like ride the track so you can really see the track and not necessarily ride it so that I'm like hauling the mail around the track and it looks like epically fast. Like I try to reserve the high speed stuff for my teammates that are much better at this game than I am. But in terms of just like looking at the track visually, obviously it's really well thought out and put together as like a beachy sand track. It kind of a little tiny bit reminds me of some of like the beach races that happen in Europe, like in France and the Netherlands and stuff like that. But it's obviously way more technical than that because there's not a lot of high speed sections. It's a lot of like kind of back and forth. Like if you just, I don't know, pulled Valkenswaard or Lommel and just put it right next to the ocean, like kind of more that vibe, I guess, where there's actually like real motocrossy elements to it. And then also he threw in this little, you go into the actual track stuff again, I guess like the middle of the island again, and there's real dirt and everything that's laid down. And honestly, like this little stretch of the track right here too is quite a bit of fun. Like it could have easily been a part of the main track, but it's cool that he decided to like pull it off the midsection of the island a little bit and add it to this beach tour that he has here, because like he could have just done basically a circle around the island, but instead he's like, no, let's have it go and intersect back through the racetrack beforehand. So as I get the sand section here all wrong, but like even here, like we're going backwards on the motocross track right now. Then we're going to jump off of that over this little step up, get back on the gas over this rise, and then we're going to jump right back into what's kind of like, I guess, like the main middle valley of the map. If you could think of it as like a volcano, I guess, island, like this is the middle of the volcano, but it's not a volcano, obviously. And then so we're going to go backwards through that and then jump back onto the backside of this track. And now we're literally hitting this stretch of the motocross track in reverse. And he did a pretty good job, in my opinion, of building this to work both directions. Like I do remember hitting the motocross track first time through and thinking there was a couple spots that I was going backwards because I was like, that seemed a little bit steeper or whatever than it should be. But now I realize he was also building takeoffs for other, the other racetrack to a degree as well. So again, really well thought out. You do the little beach tour around the edge, then you come back in the middle, you kind of hit the MX track a little bit again. Like now we're going the right way on the MX track. Everything flows together super well, and of course it looks really well too. Now I would show you guys kind of the people that are all around the beach, but just let you in on a little secret that there's some stuff on the beach I cannot show you in a video. So if you really want to see what I'm talking about, you're going to need to download the track, which again is a $3 pay for price to download the track. So this is the beach tour. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys a little bit of a lap around the Enduro track now here at Madagascar. Alrighty, so last but not least, of course, here we have the Enduro track, which I said I'm not very good at sand. I'm even worse at Enduro riding in this game, which is why to this point I have not done a full playthrough yet of the Erzberg Rodeo. But I will do that eventually because I need to get better at Enduro riding. I'm just not really very comfortable with the slow speed physics here in MX bikes, but doing my best to show off the track and not make it look, completely terrible. There's going to be a couple moments, I think, here on the second lap that are going to be pretty cringy, but we'll talk about it. So again, really well detailed. I would say the Enduro loop is the most, it looks just overgrown and not many people ride it. There's trees just kind of strewn across the middle of the track. This is a really cool incorporation that he has right here of including the crashed plane, I guess is what you'd call it, into the middle of the Enduro loop, and again, just making it look absolutely awful. But he's got trees laying over the track, he's got rocks everywhere, and a little, tidbit that I learned from Resolute Kraken, who built the, Krakenberg Enduro, I guess I should call it, not Erzberg, but what I learned from him is that a lot of this little stuff that you're seeing, these rocks, these tiny little rocks in the ground, the trees that are laying over, what JV is really doing here is kind of making little bumps and stuff that, and I think some of it is object files as well, but he's just trying to make these object files work as absolutely best as he can for the game. So if you actually watch the replay back, as I'm going to completely go off track here and forget where I am, if you actually watch the replay back, the tires are not fully hitting these rocks or these trees and hitting the formation of the tree. It's almost, you're gonna see in the replay sometimes if you look back at these, it's going through rocks or going through the tree a little bit, but they're building these object files or these little divots in the ground so that it's easier to go over them, like that, that rock right there. If you come up upon it really quick and hit it, it's not going to throw you for a complete loop, even so I still get tossed around a little bit here. But back to the track and more than talking about the technical side of it. Again, in terms of an Enduro loop, I mean, this is right up there with some of the best Enduro loops we've had in the game because it's really well thought out single track stuff. It goes through some really tight little narrow sections like this. There's obviously trees everywhere, so it's a little bit hard to see kind of where you're going sometimes, but he did try his very best to include these neon blue and neon pink markers everywhere, and you would always go through it with the pink on the left and the blue on the right, so you're actually in between the two of them, even if you can't see one or the other. You want to keep the pink on the left and the blue on the right. Pretty simple to understand. I think this is where I completely mess this up. I'm going to go off the side of the trail and just end up front flipping and going down, and then I trying to get back up to the trail, just make a complete mockery of it here a couple times, I think. Yeah, I get back up here and then fall and then slide back down the hill because I'm just terrible. I should have cut this part of the video out, but I just wanted to leave it in to show you, hey, these Enduro loops are not easy. Even, I wouldn't say I'm a great player, but I'm a decent player at the game, and I still struggle with it. Motocross tracks in this game are way more my vibe, but it's still really cool that he elected to include this stuff. He could have easily just built the motocross track and be yeah, this is just a private motocross track island resort type deal, and just moved on from there and built the environment and laid a bunch of cool stuff out in terms of the environment. But the fact that he was no, let's also lay out an Enduro loop that kind of weaves through the inside of the motocross track, and then also let's do this beach tour track that incorporates a sandy motocross track vibe, but also goes into the middle of the island as well and incorporates some of the MX track and utilizes different aspects of it. As you've already seen, I'm sure, both the Enduro loop and the beach tour use the exact same finish line jump that the MX track does, so it really does overlap onto each other quite a bit, and I think that's just really kind of cool and unique that he, again, elected to kind of think outside of the box with that and not just do some either really small stale Enduro loops. This Enduro loop I think is a almost 4 minute lap time if I remember right. It's pretty long. The same for the beach tour track, that's pretty long as well. You're gonna see some birds hanging out on this rock as I crash on it, and then I'm gonna get stuck here again because I'm just fantastic at riding over rocks in this game. But again, I mean, just incredibly detailed, well thought out. JV, like I have said before, always does brilliant work. Some of the best tracks we've ever seen in MX bikes have been JV works over the years with some of the MXGP tracks that he has made and some other works that he's put in together as well. But Yeah, incredibly detailed work, and I think that, you know, the $3 asking price on this is totally worth it because it's supporting a content creator that pours so much into this game and always produces top-notch stuff. So this is Madagascar by JV. I'll include the link in the description below. But thanks you guys for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. So long for now.